what inspired you to focus on PMS and PMDD, which is, to be very frank, comes under the umbrella of menstrual health. In general, it is not discussed much. So I would love you to throw some light on this.
I think we've all grown up seeing that stigma around menstruation, around just mentioning the word periods also. So my friends and I started this social initiative called Pravaha Kriti, where Pravaha means beautiful and Kriti means a creation. So this flow of life that ultimately leads to all creation, that was our main point or message. This is what started this journey of working in menstrual health, and then even understanding what is PMDD, because PMDD stands for premenstrual dysphoric disorder. So that's the most extreme form of that, which is actually, as you said, it's also a mood disorder or a mental health condition. And that's what inspired me to start working on Heal Cycle, which is both a community and an app to support these conditions and people who are going through them.
And you have been into the field of psychiatry since the past 10 years. Ma'am, I would love to know your journey.
Being in the psychiatry is like from childhood, I guess. We knew more about confusion, depression and tension rather than the fever, headache and all because we belong to the family of psychiatrists. But yeah, when Ananya connected with me, I was very surprised regarding the Heal Cycle, premenstrual dysphoric disorder and premenstrual syndrome. Even I myself experienced premenstrual symptoms. PMS is like simple mood symptoms, mood swings which occur. But in PMDD, it's like a female's brain is only hijacked and she is only about full-blown depression, and there might be irritability, aggression, suicidal ideas. It's like a proper depression and proper treatment is required.
So, welcome both of you to the Dolly Show today. I'm so glad that we have two amazing people with us today. So, here we have Ananya with us, and a topic that has not been touched yet is what we are going to discuss today. And we have Dr. Aninda with us, who has loads and loads of information to give us. So, welcome both of you to the Dolly Show. And let's pop in the first question, which is what inspired you to focus on PMS and PMDD, which is, to be very frank, comes under the umbrella of menstrual health. And this topic in itself is, related to stigma, and in general, it is not discussed much. So I first and foremost really love that you have been focusing, both of you have been focusing on this topic. So I would love you to throw some light on this. First you, and definitely ma'am. Then you.
Of course. As you rightly said, I think we've all grown up seeing that stigma around menstruation, around just mentioning the word periods also.
True.
And that has gradually changed. And that was actually where I first began my work a lot when I was in my teens. So my friends and I started this social initiative called Pravaha Kriti, where Pravaha means beautiful and Kriti means a creation. So this flow of life that ultimately leads to all creation, that was our main point or message. Why should it be considered anything less than beautiful or just a normal biological process?
So true.
So this is what started this journey of working in menstrual health. And then I gave a TED talk on the subject of period positivity. I was associated as a public health ambassador with a nonprofit called the PAD Project. And there we did a series of interviews and events related to menstrual health disorders and this interconnection of how menstrual health and mental health or reproductive and mental health intersect with each other. That's where this, spark of even understanding what is PMDD, because no one has, a lot of people have never heard the term. Yeah.
Me too.
Yes, definitely.
Exactly. So we know PMS, even that has become like, sometimes it's used as a joke in pop culture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
She must be PMSing or something like that. And then PMDD stands for premenstrual dysphoric disorder. So that's the most extreme form of that, which is actually, as you said, it's also a mood disorder or a mental health condition. And it affects a subset of women. But there are other challenges also that come under the umbrella of hormonal mental health. And that's what inspired me to start working on Heal Cycle, which is both a community and an app to support these conditions and people who are going through them.
And to top it, you have also delved into women in the autism world who are going through this, which is fabulous. I would love to know more about that. But before that, we'll just quickly, ma'am, I would love to know your journey. And you have been into the field of psychiatry since the past 10 years. So, whoa. We need to hear it from
being
the
in the
horse's mouth.
psychiatry is like from childhood, I guess. We knew more about confusion, depression, and tension rather than the fever, headache, and all because we belong to the family of psychiatrists. But yeah, when Ananya connected with me, I was very surprised regarding the Heal Cycle.
Yeah.
Today only I was telling her, once I thought it might be because I usually talk about gender-based violence. So it might be about healing in the violence. But then I saw it as a very beautiful project, Heal Cycle, and then premenstrual dysphoric disorder and premenstrual syndrome. Even I myself experienced premenstrual symptoms. So, and throwing the light on that and tracking the mood symptoms, there are a lot of mood trackers, but none has this option of tracking the mood, which is more important. And the premenstrual dysphoric disorder is like PMS is like simple mood symptoms, mood swings which occur, but in PMDD it's like a female's brain is only hijacked and she is only about full blown depression, and there might be irritability, aggression, suicidal ideas. It's like a proper depression and proper treatment is required. And I was really amazed with the app she has created and the Heal Cycle. And now the beautifully she has explained about the beautiful creation, which is really good. So this was like much needed thing, which I thought, and so
Yes.
that was lovely. Yeah.
Definitely. And yes, over to you. How is it that it affects, women and teens on the autism spectrum?
Absolutely. So the research is still initial. So as with everything in women's health, I think it's just an under-researched field in
So
general.
true.
Yeah.
But so currently studies have shown that women that have ADHD and autism have statistically higher rates of having PMDD. And so there might be the underlying cause could be because of nervous system dysregulation, or there is also like more sensory overload. So women who have autism experience those sensory cognitive changes because of the hormonal fluctuations with the menstrual cycle. They're more sensitive to that. So those could be possible correlations. And one figure is like up to the range is really big right now. So it could be one study showed 21%, another said 92% of women who have autism show signs of PMDD. So it's we don't know the exact number, but we know that there is more susceptibility, and this is a correlation somehow.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I would like to throw some
Yes.
light on this. First of all, girls are only misdiagnosed, not diagnosed with autism, first of all. So
That's
there is a
true.
book also, The Lost Girls of Autism, because many women are not diagnosed as autism is thought to be a male condition. And in autism, there and the other neurodiverse conditions, ADHD, autistic DHD, we call it, there is a lot of hypersensitivity to any kind of senses. So even the feel or the smell of the menstrual products and the menstrual blood also makes them emotionally dysregulated. They are not able to tolerate that. So that also causes a lot of premenstrual dysphoric disorder in the women with ADHD and autism. And also there is a sudden meltdown which can happen, and they can break out at that time because if they have PMDD, so the meltdowns which happen, that should be taken care of, and sudden withdrawal can be there, and there are heightened emotional dysregulation, heightened senses for all the things. So all these should be taken care of. And definitely there have been studies, as Ananya reported correctly, like there is higher rate of PMDD in autistic and ADHD. And still the research is very less
Sure.
because we don't know how many girls have autism
Oh
and
my
ADHD,
God,
which
because
is
of the
more
masking.
required. Yeah. And as like about the heal cycle, the first time I told Ananya also, like you have created the app like to in which women can become the queen of their own life by taking the charge of their mood symptoms of the cycle. So I was very happy with that thing.
So yes, let's come to your app, which is the Heal Cycle. Please give us information in full detail.
Yeah, that is much needed.
Yeah.
Sure. So, as Dr. Ananda already explained, so we focus on the symptom tracking aspect and making that as simple as possible. And there's journaling, so that helps to know what is going on, and that can be customized according to the individual's needs. And then we show like the trends and your insights. And one big part of that is also using AI as a tool within the app, alongside an AI companion for answering any question or providing emotional support, which is a big component, like just making women feel safe and seen and validated, that this is not just in your head. I mean, technically it could be in your head, but there's a biological process which is causing it.
So true, because even when we as women go through it, we know there are some mood swings that happen before we get our periods, but we just don't give any attention. It's like, okay, fine. So I can totally relate to what you're talking right now.
These should not be sidelined, first of all. Like PMS, it should not be sidelined. Oh, ये तो नाटक कर रही होगी, इसका काम करने का मन नहीं है आज. Boyfriend, girlfriend, they fight. Even if a girl is actually going through some proper stress, then also she is just taken, अरे नाटक कर रही होगी, इसका PMS चल रहा है, या तेरा तो रोज का ही PMS है. Even like parents only say at times.
Exactly.
Which it's actually with the mood tracker and the Heal Cycle app, there is a lot of, and she forgot to tell the name, Tara. She is a very good friend of mine now. That is the AI chatbot which she has created. So I chat with her, hello Tara, and so she can help with the mood symptoms, and that is really great.
So what does the app analyze? What exactly is the benefit of using that app?
So it analyzes basically your cycle, any related symptoms, mood changes, or any other information or journal logs that you put in. And we're also connecting it to the wearable ecosystem. So if you, with our next update, like if someone wants to link their Apple Health or Google Health data, so that will provide additional insights. But then the main benefit is also, another part is we have a lot of tools which we can come to, like breathing exercises, covering there's a module on nutrition, on the science behind what's going on like we have created a set of meditations. So all of these like tools and a module which is co-created with experts, doctors, psychologists, to cover all the different aspects. So that is also a benefit, and that is recommended based on the individual's needs.
Yes, and definitely also along with that, all the things like even I myself use the which Yog Nidra they created for the AI app, for the Heal Cycle app, and it's wonderful. And along with that, it's all science backed. And it is also making women more aware about the mood symptoms, PMS and PMDD. The thing which is like the more important is like earlier also I used to use the mood track, the tracking for the mood for menstrual cycle. But the mood symptom tracking along with the menstrual cycle is very important. And the next step which Ananya is thinking about is really wonderful and great, which is going to help a lot of women, that we thought about it and it's her thought process, and she's going to create to make it for the people who are undergoing IVF cycles, because IVF journey comes with a lot of hormonal changes and the burden and lot of symptoms, and when it gets inculcated with the mood tracker, it is going to help a lot.
Okay, as you are a psychiatrist, I would love to know from you that is the hormonal changes or the hormonal cycle different for individuals on the spectrum, or is it similar, or is it more intense?
It is more intense. Definitely, autistic individual, ADHD individual, their brains have shown that they are more prone and more sensitive to the emotional dysregulation. That is the reason which causes a lot of symptoms. Even the dopamine sensitivity is higher in them, and that leads to the anger outburst, irritability, and so this is the reason. And their brains are, even on MRI, there have been images which have shown the heightened regulation of the hormonal changes due to hormonal changes.
Whoa.
And
In
another thing was we also did another event or around this, where one of the experts, she was from the US, shared some case studies also. So one thing can be that in some cases they might have non-traditional communication skills, so you don't realize what an individual on the spectrum might be trying to communicate.
Correct.
So if they're undergoing if the depression or anxiety symptoms or sudden increases in that, which are cyclical, are not or maybe that might be blamed on something else, rather than correctly identifying what's actually going on. Or pain related symptoms like cramps, what is that person exhibiting? So communicating that and understanding that clearly can also be sometimes missed out on.
Correct.
And even the children who have autism or ADHD and neurodiversity, they are more prone to have the breast tenderness and the abdominal cramps, because they have a lot of pain and discomfort which they are not able to explain, as she explained beautifully. Yes.
Also, I have heard, I keep meeting a lot of parents. So, few parents give medication to their children to stop their hormonal growth, or, what is your take on that?
No, it should not be done to stop the hormonal growth, because to manage these behavioral symptoms, there are a lot of techniques which can be done. First of all, the mood symptom tracking. If parents start tracking the mood symptoms using this Heal Cycle app, they can actually regulate the emotions, they can regulate the response, how they respond to the child at that time. First thing. Another thing, they can inculcate the exercises, breathing exercises, and help them with the journaling, which is there. Then there is safe space. Parent, because caregiving burden is also very high. So parents can also talk about the burden they are going through while taking care of the ADHD and the autistic child, along with emotional dysregulation and PMDD. At that time, it is very difficult for parents also to handle. So when one gets the safe space to discuss, so the Heal Cycle community is there. Then there is another thing, is there are therapies are there, cognitive behavior therapy, mindfulness therapy, and for the medication, progestin is known, which has been used, which can help in the symptoms, but definitely in autistic and ADHD, it should not be used. It should be avoided, because they are more sensitive to the side effects of any medication. Even when we prescribe any kind of antidepressant, anti-OCD, antipsychotic, it is the rule is to start very slow, very low dose, and go slow, because the brain is not well tolerable to the side effects, have to be monitored. So best is to provide them the acknowledgement that their feelings are being acknowledged. Invalidation of the feelings causes the regulation and cause them to melt down. So when we start recognizing and acknowledging their feelings, for that parents use the app, they track the symptom that, oh, now the periods are about to come and now her mood is this, so that can be tracked.
And accordingly, then the
Accordingly,
constructive
they can
steps
respond.
can be taken.
Yes.
Wow. I would also love to go through this app, and I would like to track mine as
So
well.
definitely you should download
For
and use
sure.
it myself.
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh, this is amazing. And also, I would love to know about, you have mentioned about seed cycle, and also some, nutritional aspects that y'all can put in to regulate this. So
For that, Ananya is a better person to answer.
please.
Sure. So again, with the caveat that I myself am not a nutritionist, but I worked alongside them to create this module even for the app. So nutrition is a big component for hormonal balance, and sometimes underlying issues like blood sugar or insulin resistance can be, and there's also a link now that again, early research, but PMDD and histamine intolerance. So if certain foods are triggers, that can also be, that has to be found out for each individual. And then there could be some common deficiencies like magnesium or calcium can also lead to heightened symptoms, and magnesium supplementation can help with with anyone for mental health and even for sleep and so on. It's shown really good results. Seed cycling, as you mentioned, is a technique that it's actually become quite popular on social media these days, but that's where everyone is learning this. But there are 4 seeds: flax, pumpkin, sunflower, and sesame. So what they do is, for the first half in the follicular phase, you eat flax and pumpkin seeds and as a mixture. And then in the second half, sesame and sunflower seeds. So this is helping some people, some women who have PCOS to reduce bloating and reduce certain symptoms or having more regular cycles and so on. But I will say there's no concrete science behind it yet. So it is like a nutritional strategy that can be tried out for sure.
And which other, nutrition that can be added to support this, if you have?
So I think the baseline, what every doctor or nutritionist recommends is increasing protein intake and reducing carbohydrates. Like with the Indian diet, I think we all have so much more carbs than protein. So that's the first step usually that they talk about. Then it's also for if someone is sensitive to glucose spikes and so on, then reducing sugar, caffeine. So those sorts of steps, which I think help everyone in general. But of course, with someone who's dealing with PMDD, dealing with PCOS, it becomes more important to take these steps.
Yes, and then definitely in children with ADHD, sugar spikes the symptoms of ADHD. So sugar cut down is very important in children especially. So whenever you must have seen our children who are hyperactive, when the chocolates and all are given lot, they become more hyperactive. Instead of the tantrum being stopped, the hyperactivity increases. So that sugar cut down is necessary for the children in autistic and ADHD.
And to come back to a very basic question, there is a lot of confusion between understanding PMS and PMDD. So please give us what exactly is the difference between the two.
Okay, so as Dr. Ananda also mentioned in the beginning, PMS is, to some extent, each woman experiences some or the other symptom, and it could be very mild, like some irritability, some mood swings, and maybe some cycles it's stronger, and then some there's no real symptom. But PMDD becomes it's like 10 times of that. So it's a proper mood disorder or depressive disorder. The statistics are around 3 to 10% of women who menstruate have PMDD. And it's much more severe in the sense there will be more mental symptoms like depression, rage, anxiety, even suicidal ideation, so it can get quite serious. And I spoke to a gynecologist in Delhi who unfortunately lost one of her patients to this. And she wrote a note also acknowledging that there was nothing else in her life, or blaming no one else. She just said, this is only because of my PMDD. So it was, that was an eye opener, even directly hearing about such a case. So it can get very serious if left untreated, if left undiagnosed, and it's not managed in time. So it's a minority of women who experience the most severe version, which is classified as PMDD. And the rest could also have, in some cases, it's still PMS, but it could be on the higher side or more severe, but it doesn't. So it's like a spectrum, I would say, similar to how autism is also described as a spectrum. So somewhere, so that sums it up.
Yes, and PMS and PMDD definitely it impacts the marital relationships a lot. because of when a woman is going through PMDD, if it is ignored as just a normal mood swing or a drama hai and not treated properly, it can lead to increased discord, marital discord, and if left untreated, as definitely like depression, the suicide risk is high. And also, normal PMS also can lead to the marital discord and frequent fights, which has to be monitored. And there are techniques in when as they teach the breathing techniques, journaling and all mood symptoms are monitored. And if husband is also aware about when the cycle is coming and the mood swings, when they are properly aware, family, they can respond accordingly. So that can be done. And definitely for PMDD, treatment is necessary, medications is necessary. One has to take.
So these red flags should be taken into
Yes,
consideration,
definitely.
and at the right time, a doctor should be consulted so that the right steps can be taken. Wow, you all have opened my eyes today. Never thought of this ever, and you all have really delved deep into the subject. And I would want to thank you all for bringing up. To be very frank, Ananya, you have taken up this project and you have developed this app. It's going to work wonders for people. So amazing. So, can you tell us a bit more about what steps can be taken for these teens and women on the spectrum for managing PMS and PMDD, and also the breathing exercises? And yeah, over to you.
Yes. So I think two main things. The number one is awareness among the caregivers and the parents also on what PMDD is and what if that might be the case for their child. So I think that first step of like understanding it better and that tracking it, seeing what signs, because each individual symptoms might look a little bit different, or there could be cases where this is not an issue, so it's not like a blanket thing. So that's the first step. And the second one is also if a doctor's intervention or something like that is needed, or just self-management. So both of those things can be done. Self-management, I would say, like, there are resources online, and then if you don't want to like do your own search, that's why like we have this whole module created and journey created on this topic on the Heal Cycle app, that which covers all the different aspects from nutrition, science, mental health. We're also adding yoga and so on. So holistically covering that. And then even if you need a doctor's intervention, so preparing for that appointment and understanding or taking all the symptoms, your reports and all of that is quite important, because most people or most doctors or mental health professionals would say that it has to be tracked for at least 2 to 3 cycles for us to notice if this is like a cyclical pattern. And so again, that comes into place when you have the symptom tracking that can be customized on Heal Cycle, or you can, if you don't want to use an app, then paper and pen, and you do your own note taking. So that's another thing. Now, when it comes to breathing techniques, there are also other grounding techniques. Some of the ones that we have include 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Which is a grounding technique that covers the different senses. Then there is a breathing technique called box breathing, which I can also show. So it's called box breathing. So it's very simple to remember. So you inhale for 4 counts, then you hold for 4 counts, exhale for 4 counts, and then again hold for 4 counts. So we can even do it together.
Yes.
So we'll start. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. So we just count to 4. And inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and then again hold for 4 more before the next inhalation. So it's a simple pattern to keep in mind, and this helps to relax and calm us down and relieve any stress.
I felt it.
Yeah. And with just what you just did it
Just
once.
once.
Yeah.
So how many times have you to do this?
So there's no set like count, but at least like for maybe it can be repeated for a minute or two. And then there's another one which is which we have as a tool, which is 478. Again, these are different breathing patterns, so each has a slightly different benefit, and maybe one works better for someone than the other. But the main goal is to regulate the nervous system, and also in the moment, if you are having some sort of like attack or so on, just to calm the body down. So these can also be helpful for that.
Fantastic. So let's delve a bit deep into menstrual health. So I want a bit from you and from you as well, ma'am.
Absolutely. I think but we are covering the mental health side of menstrual health, but there is so much to do with the the menstrual cycle. And the first step is obviously understanding that it's a normal biological process that every woman who menstruates goes through, and normalizing conversation about it. So it shouldn't be a taboo word to speak out loud. And I think even hiding away our pads and not being able to and there are so many homes even in cities till this day where maybe the young girls who just start their menarche are not given the appropriate information, like what is going on with their bodies. And I think it starts there, where you don't fully understand what you're going through, or maybe there are certain norms that are carried forward, like, okay, you sit in a separate room. In Nepal, they also have like these menstrual huts sometimes, so there have been cases where women were kept isolated in a hut outside of the house. And so I think all of those practices from all tiers of society, I hope for a world where we can move past these and just live normally, and then also be able to come to the second layer, which is the healthcare side, and acknowledging the disorders, health issues that might arise, because so many girls and women, even from our teens, have been struggling with either PMS or PCOS, irregular cycles, and so on. So I think all of this, if we have better awareness from the starting, can be stopped before it develops into such a big deal.
Yeah.
So well put across. Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
Over to you. The mental health in association with menstrual health. I would love to know from
First of
you.
all, there is stigma attached to both the words,
I
mental
know.
health and the menstruation. So we should
So you
stop
have
it. So
to-
period. It should be like period. No stigma with that. So it should be
Nice.
stopped there. Period on this. And this education, the menstrual education, menstrual cycle education, should start from the school time. Actually, I remember even during my school time, I was not properly educated about that. And in biology, we have seen many times teachers also skip the chapters in where the reproductive cycles are being talked about, and वो कि शर्म आती है लड़कों के सामने, and that should not be done until and unless you educate them properly. Menstruation is the cycle which is going to create, as she told. So you want children, but you don't want to talk about menstrual cycles. How is it possible? And also the mental health is definitely related to it. And there are a lot of other infections which can spread if the proper hygiene is not taken care of. And there are many women which don't get the sanitary napkins
Yes.
proper. So there are a lot of projects being done. I know Prince Manvinder Singh Gohil, who is actually doing a lot of thing in this. He has got the disposable sanitary napkins and also the washable sanitary napkins, in which he's distributing them. He got it made from the US and distributes them with the bucket proper, so they can be washed and used again. Because if not used properly, it can lead to the pelvic inflammatory diseases and lot of diseases which can be life threatening. So that is very important. And definitely talking about period and mental health should stop. That should be no
The
stigma,
stigma
at all.
should be taken
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
That's so
that
true.
is it.
And
Yeah.
I love that you shared about the washable pads, because I think that's another direction where we're talking about sustainability when
Yes.
it comes to the products we use. So we have other options now. We can use cups, which are like a one-time product. It can be reused because, this, and there are biodegradable pad options or more eco-friendly options. So I think this is another trend that we're seeing, where we think about the planetary health also, and how all of this waste of single-use pads that we're disposing, it takes hundreds of years sometimes to just decompose. So that's another aspect altogether.
So I would love to have one message from you, Ananya, and one message from you, ma'am, you would like to give to our neurodiverse audience and their parents, definitely.
The message that I would like to share is that, it's totally normal to be experiencing more sensory symptoms around periods or around other stressful times. And this should be acknowledged and support should be there. And this is why, the Heal Cycle app is something close to my heart. And I hope some of them benefit from it and also give us their feedback, both parents and their children.
And I would like to give a message, sabka apna apna normal hai.
Oh, yes.
Nobody is different.
Yes.
I went to Iceland to see the northern lights. So the northern lights, rainbow, these children are also like the colors of the mind.
Yes.
Different colors they are. So we should celebrate them. Sabka apna apna normal hai. You are not disabled, you are different or maybe more intelligent and more creative.
Yes.
So जैसे अब सितारे ज़मीं पर तो definitely they all are सितारे ज़मीं पर और सबका अपना अपना norm. But I'm very happy about that. That is the inclusion is the key.
Yes.
That is the first step which is bringing the change. And
Absolutely.
about the Bangalore airport, it has got lot of things.
Yes.
It is the first airport to become inclusive. So
Bangalore,
सबका normal है
Dubai.
अपना अपना. Yeah.
These people are setting trends that, yes, we have to build a world which is inclusive.
Yes.
And we have to take that step forward further. Wow. Fantastic. A beautiful conversation that I've had today with y'all. And thanks. I cannot thank you enough.
Thank you so much for
Thanks
having
a
us.
lot, and I thank Ananya for
Yes.
getting me in touch with you.
And all the best, Ananya, for your future, because you have taken up something very important, let me tell you, which everybody is
Definitely.
ignoring this. Nobody is addressing. So, fantastic. And
Thank
all
you
the
so
best.
much.